You ever meet someone who's been ignored so long the world forgets they even exist? Not because they did anything wrong, just because nobody looked. This is Luna's story, a 50-pound ball of hope who was tied to a pole in Central Park and then left to wait for 205 days. By the time she left the shelter, one quiet Christmas wish changed everything. Before we start, drop your city in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far Luna's new family love travels. Picture New York in late spring. Taxis, tourists, the distant hum of the city. But a small corner of Central Park was suddenly frozen in a different kind of stillness. A dog, trembling, tethered, and alone. That dog was Luna. The city moved on, but Luna stayed. Her journey would take her from a lonely pole to a kitchen full of laughter. And it all started with one family and one 12-year-old boy. Asterisk, May 24th, a date that reads like an ordinary day on the calendar. Except it wasn't ordinary for Luna. Whoever left her did so in a place where people pass and people notice. Yet somehow she was overlooked. The shelter took her in. Warm beds, food, volunteers, but shelters are crowded and noisy. And Luna's soft eyes sat behind a parade of daily comings and goings. Imagine the scene inside the Manhattan Animal Care Center. The echo of barking, the rustle of leashes, the steady hands of staff who do their best but can't be everywhere at once. Luna was gentle and eager for touch, but people walked past. She was a pit bull boxer mix, a label that opened doors for some but closed them for others. For 205 days, photos were posted, pleas were made, volunteers whispered her name. Still, no one stepped forward. 205 days is long enough for seasons to change twice. It's long enough for hope to waver. For Luna, each day in the system added a new layer, a new set of faces, new smells, the clink of the kennel door. Some dogs barked for attention. Luna waited, steady and patient, as if she knew her person would find her eventually. Think about the moments in between the obvious ones. Quiet nights when the lights dim at the shelter, a volunteer kneeling to give her one extra scratch, the sound of the city outside that reminded her of the world beyond cages. Staff said she was about 6 years old, not a puppy, not too old, an adult dog with a life already lived. When you imagine her waiting, remember it wasn't just time she lost, it was chances for a quieter life that slipped by day after day. Now shift scenes. The Rodriguez Bitter family, a father, a mother, and 3 children carrying the kind of quiet sadness that follows loss. The family had recently lost someone close, the children's grandmother, and the house felt heavy with that absence. Families grieve differently. Some fill the silence with music, some with conversations, and some with a decision that seems small but becomes everything. To open the door, one evening, while the family was looking through foster photos for the holidays, they noticed a picture on a shelter door, Luna's face. The kids stopped. The mother read the little caption aloud. The father exchanged a look with his son Jadrian, who was 12 and had watched a video about animal abuse that had sunk into his chest like a stone. Jadrian made a wish that Christmas he wanted to adopt a dog. Imagine that tiny private moment, a boy pressing his palms together, hopeful in the way only children can be. The next day, the family visited the shelter. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't involve grand proclamations. It was simple. They walked up, they met her, and Luna met them back. When families meet dogs, sometimes there is an awkward pause. Sometimes there is instant recognition. With Luna, it was the latter. The connection was quick and unmistakable. The way she leaned into their hands, the way her tail moved, not wild and frantic, but a steady metronome of joy. The 12-year-old's eyes lit up. The parents, still raw from loss, found themselves smiling for the first time in weeks. There's a hush that comes from something real, where grief meets comfort, and one soft head on a lap begins to stitch things back together. Shelter staff watched quietly. They said she became the center of the room. Not loud, just loved. The adoption was finalized the following day, in a heartbeat that had been months in the making. Luna left the place she had known as home, and walked into the home she was meant for. The Rodriguez Bitter family described what followed like watching sunlight creep into a dark room. Luna didn't erase the memory of the grandmother. She didn't need to, but she brought warmth back into the household. The kids who had been carrying sorrow now had something else to carry. Responsibility, laughter, the daily rituals of dog life. Walks that used to be quiet now had a small parade of tales and voices. Homework got an audience. Dinner had an extra set of hopeful eyes. Luna's excitement was infectious. She was affectionate in the precise ways that make you feel forgiven, simply by being yourself. She loved being held. She loved the kids' games, and she loved the quiet corners where she could rest her head. Slowly, the family's wounds found new tissue to heal into. Luna became their center of attention, and in turn, the family became Luna's whole world. Think about the moment you realized life has changed for the better. The first time you laugh for no reason. The first time a house feels full again. For the Rodriguez bitters, it was watching Jadrian curl up with Luna and whispering stories into her ear as if she were the one who would keep them safe. For Luna, it was the knowledge that she would never be tethered to a pole again. That is a small miracle, not in flashing lights, but in the quiet, steady kind that builds a life. If Luna's story touched you, if it made you think of a lonely dog you've passed on the street, or an animal you couldn't stop thinking about, share this video. Drop your city in the comments so we can map where love like Luna's is happening. And if you can, consider adopting, fostering, or donating to your local shelter. The difference between waiting and belonging can be as small as one person saying yes. Luna waited 205 days. That number could have been forever. Instead, it became a countdown to a better life. She reminds us that patience is powerful, that kids can move mountains with a single wish, and that sometimes the people and the animals who seem overlooked are just waiting for the right family to see them. If you loved Luna's story, hit like, subscribe, and share, not because we want the clicks, but because every view helps spread the message. Don't overlook the overlooked. And tell me below, where are you watching from? What would you name Luna?